accept permits in loading zones that have time limits on them either. It's a big campus. There's a lot of vehicles here every day. And so the intention for that is to, like I said, just give people that are popping in and out a chance to park somewhere. So that's why the policy is what it is. And I don't see any reason to change that because I see the occupancy data on that, which I'd be happy to share if anybody would like to see.
Any final questions? Senator Setti?
For the plan to revitalize P20, when were you planning on starting that project, and how would that look? Because that's a lot of spaces to take off the board for any significant amount of time.
Right, I don't have a date for you, but it would be a summer project, 100%. Just like, I know parking lots 5 and 6 with the solar on them, when we redid those used to look a lot different, and similar size in terms of stall count with P20. The second commencements was over, and we got it done before school reopened.
Okay.
So that's not something I would try to do during the semester, no chance. I understand. It's too busy.
And then Senator Martinez?
Are you familiar with the 30-minute parking area between Birch and Sycamore at the dorms? It's like the one you have to enter by going
Commons
on.
driveway?
Huh?
The one off of Barton?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, so that one, I just had a random thought because I remember when I lived at the dorms, I'm a scooter user, and as a lot of students at the dorms are, when I was there, I saw almost 4 students get hit by cars because in that specific little parking lot, there is no sidewalk and there is no crosswalk or stop sign at that little entrance. So I just noticed that recently, because of scooters, it's gotten a lot more dangerous. You know, students are zooming out of there, cars are entering, and you can't really see. I've seen a lot of close calls, and especially as an RA, I've had to report a couple injuries as well. So I was just wondering if that's your guys' team could look into that maybe, and I can also meet with you privately to discuss that as well. That was just something that I've noticed at the dorms.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Commons driveway right here off of Barton where the trash dumpsters are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with that area. I will check it out, and it is my job. So
Yes,
I'm happy
okay,
to
perfect.
I'm happy to go look at it.
And then
That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. And before I take off, I want to make sure to thank you for bringing back the Parking and Transportation Senator. That was a big deal. Used to meet with them every month, so I'm looking forward to having that back. And this is the kind of stuff that we would get to,
Perfect.
so that way it didn't have to sit until something like this.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we have time for maybe 2 more questions. Senator Setti?
I have one more, sorry. I have a lot of questions. My last one has to do with, traffic control sort of out there, especially on Barstow. And even, especially in this parking lot, what is it? The one over here by
30 and 31.
yeah, like Smith Camp and everything
Yeah.
over there. I have almost hit students because they don't stop at like any of the crosswalks or really pay attention when they're crossing at non-designated stopwalks. You know what I mean.
I do.
And it makes me literally not want to drive here because of how, you can sit there for 5 minutes because nobody cares that cars are waiting to go or in the middle of a turn, and they're just, because it's a parking lot, they just act that they can just go, and people aren't driving. And I'm hoping that maybe we can have some more safety there. I've seen a lot of impatient drivers as well, and a lot of close calls. And I don't know about the data on accidents or if there's even any data on near misses, but it's something I've seen that makes me just want to park at Safe Mart Center.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it is my biggest source of stress is somebody getting hurt, right? Some of it just comes down to how many people we have that can direct traffic. I have 4 uniformed folks here during the daytime, 4. So if I put them over there, then they're not on Barstow. If I take them off of Barstow, then they're not over here. So what we've tried to do, I don't know if any of you have driven in on Barstow in the morning the last couple of weeks. Have you noticed the patrol officers sitting there in their car? That's to address exactly what she's talking about. Although we're all under one family, right? So I work for a lieutenant. That lieutenant and I talk all the time, and this is what we talk about. So you'll see it, especially on Barstow and other areas where police are out with the parking folks watching just for that kind of stuff. We've had issues with the high school traffic after school, so we have people looking at that. I'm aware of it, and it's our number one priority. Before we do any of that other cool stuff we talked about, it's keeping people safe is number one. We do not have every resource in the world to throw at that, but if, kind of what she's referencing, if signage would help, if you see things like that, then please give it to me, and I'm happy to assess it. And I have no problem sending our folks out there to monitor that kind of stuff too if I have a hot spot, but we are working more closely with the police now more than ever. Just, a lot of people on their phones. It's really dangerous to direct traffic too. I did it for a long time, and so it's really dangerous when they're on their phone in the morning. So, and then pedestrians. I mean, we're competing with cell phones and headphones and scooters popping in and out. So it's a lot.
The scooters, yeah,
but,
they come fast.
We have a separate meeting about that, right? But anyway, thank you for that. It's something that I understand and we're prioritizing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, any final question? Okay. Thank you so much for coming to speak to us
Thank you,
today.
everybody.
We'll now be moving on to discussion item 7.2. Discussion item 7.2, Fresno State reaccreditation presentation. The Student Senate has allotted 15 minutes for this item, and our presenter today will be Douglas Fraley.
Thank you very much for giving me the chance to address you all. I'm Dr. Fraley in our WASC accreditation chair, and I'm a professor in the communication department and coach of our Barking Bulldogs debate team, Rough Rough. So what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of background about accreditation, a few things from our self-study, and then some opportunities for students to be involved. And I've got my stopwatch going, so I'll get right into it. First of all, accreditation is really important. When I was an undergraduate, I had no idea what accreditation was, and I should have paid more attention to it because it certifies the university has met a high level of educational quality. Critically, it is necessary for students to be eligible for federal financial aid. And for a lot of employers, they really value a degree that comes from an accredited institution rather than an institution that is not accredited. So we can move on to B. Our accreditor is WASC, the Western College and Universities Commission. They are the accreditor for most of the universities on the West Coast, including the universities in the CSU Commission system. They've been around doing accreditation for a long time, and we've consistently done well with our WASC accreditations. Okay, excitingly, we were selected for the thematic pathways for reaffirmation reaccreditation. This is a streamlined process that lets us focus on a specific theme during reaccreditation rather than dealing with the traditional 9 sections of turgid academic prose that you have to fill out in order to get reaccredited. And so it was an honor to be picked. And our theme is Flagship of the Central Valley. And so we focused on the ways that Fresno State is an important institution, both for our students in the Valley. Many of our students come from the Valley and stay in the Valley after graduation, and our university does a lot in the community. So we can move right on to the timeline. You can see there we selected the theme a couple of years ago. We've done our self-study and we have prepared the report that we have submitted to our accreditors. They are poring over it right now and getting ready for the final element of the timeline, the campus visit on October 8th through 10th. And that's where they're going to come here, and in a minute I'll talk a little bit about opportunities for students. The main things that we went to, if you could scroll down just a little bit more to B on the sub-themes, these were the sub-themes that we focused on in doing the self-study. Fresno State as an institution of social mobility, high impact practices that are available for our students, hopefully all of our students, if our strategic plan comes to fruition, career satisfaction of our Fresno State graduates, our economic impact of the university on the region, the impact of our research and service, which is extensive in the region, and last but not least, our graduates in the regional workforce. How are we doing at supplying workforce needs? Are we, when our graduates get out there, are we matched up well with the jobs that are available in the Central Valley? So those were the main areas that we focused on in our study. And let me move on quickly to just a few nuggets from the self-study that you might find interesting. Note the gold bulldog there for the gold nuggets. One report found that of 48 out of 49 majors that were studied, Fresno State graduates recouped their higher education costs in less than 2 years post-graduation, not just STEM majors, but majors across the campus, including humanities and social sciences. We did really well there. Another one that we were really proud of is the service that our university does. Our university has a real commitment to community service. We contribute more hours of service than any other university in the CSU system. We have a lot of service learning classes, and so that was another important finding. And I will just share one more, is we surveyed a lot of our community partners, and perhaps some of you have done service learning, taken service learning courses, or just volunteered on your own volition to do community service. Our partners really appreciate it. 61% believed that their collaboration was very impactful on their mission, and another 35% meaningfully impactful. They wrote narratives about everything from helping clean up water pollution to supplying cantaloupes. Our service really is across the board, and our partners are very appreciative, and that was one of my favorite findings from the self-study. All right, how would you like to get involved? Well, I have a few ways. First of all, there's going to be a student open forum. Any student at Fresno State is not only welcome to participate, but encouraged to participate. And Maris and Danielle suggested that maybe if there were snacks, it might motivate a few more people to show up. And I asked Vice President Hassan, was that a possibility? He said he would try to make it happen. So I can't promise snacks quite yet, but the outlook is looking good. We propose a schedule to them, the way the system works. They then look at the schedule. When they're ready, they send us what the final schedule is going to be. So they could conceivably change it, but right now it's set for 3 o'clock on October 8th, and students can come and talk about anything they want to. If that's not a time that is good for participation, they will also have a private email where any student that wants to give feedback can give feedback. It only goes to WASC. It doesn't go to that professor where you're hoping to be able to get the Friday off for going to a cousin's wedding or something. Nobody will know it except for our regional accreditors, so it's anything confidential can be said. And then the other thing is to help us get the word out to students about reaccreditation and its importance and the opportunity to provide feedback. And so anything that you all can do to help get the word out. I know that Maris and Danielle had talked about an infographic with some FAQs, for example, which would be wonderful. And there's one more bullet point that I didn't have a chance to add because it just happened today. But one other thing where we would appreciate student involvement is they're here for 3 days and they go to infinite meetings. They need to get all over the campus. And we would appreciate it if for some of their escorts, there could be some of our student leaders who escorted them around campus, because they really do. I mean, this isn't just a thing I always say. This is really the truth, and they communicate. They like the chance to interact with students. Obviously, students are the most important reason that we're here, and they want to, get to know our students, and we're really proud of our students, and we want that to happen. And so I'll give you a schedule when we know where there's going to be opportunities. If people want to volunteer to do some escorting, that would be fantastic. All right, that takes care of my presentation. And so I will turn the floor over, and I'd be delighted to answer any questions that you have about. I would also not only like to thank Maris and Danielle, but Frederick has been serving on our executive committee, and we've really been appreciating your input too, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any question?
Senator Sebi?
Hi, Coach Doug. Thank you for coming about this. I know you've been doing this, like, really focusing on it for the last few years. And I'm curious, when you're inviting students to give, like, feedback, especially at the open forum, what kind of feedback are we talking? Like, are we talking, like, specifically for those, like, subcategories you mentioned, or just our experiences as Fresno State students?
They don't need to be those subcategories only, although you're welcome to talk about those. Part of the reason that they have forums is because in a 49-page document, you can't cover every issue that's happening at Fresno State, and they want to find about other issues. Probably, and people, I teach free speech, people have a free speech right to say whatever they want to. Probably they're more interested in kind of global concerns, like, I think we need more parking on campus, rather than last Tuesday I got a parking ticket, and I think, more, things that affect the university community is, especially important, and it's something that they really do pay attention to. I've read a lot of other universities' write-ups from WASC to get ready for this, and they talk about, at the forums we heard this, and this is what we recommend, so that's what they're really looking for especially.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Senator Martinez?
Will there be ways for students to get involved in this if they couldn't make it in person for that October 8th date?
If they can't make it to the forum, they can also submit comments by email, and we'll get that email address out as soon as they share that with us. And also volunteering to escort some of our commissioners to their various meetings. So those are a couple other ways.
Okay, thank you.
And then if there's no additional questions, thank you so much for coming to speak to us today. We appreciate the work you do at Fresno State.
And thank you very much for inviting me.
We'll now be moving on to item 7.3, the appointment of the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Senator. The Senate will vote to appoint a candidate for JEDI Senate position. Recommendations have been forwarded by the Internal Affairs Committee, and the 4 candidates recommended for consideration are Joseph Aquino, Harley Calleros, Maria Guiterres, and Daisy Guzman. The Student Senate has reserved 20 minutes for this item. May the first candidate, Joseph Aquino, please come up. You have 3 minutes to speak, and you'll have time to take 3 questions from senators after.
Good evening. I know I have 3 minutes, just want to make sure when my time starts.
Time starts whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Good evening, senators, executives, Madam President. My name is Joseph Aquino, and I am honored to be considered for the ASI role for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I am a proud first-generation college student born and raised here in Fresno, and I have dedicated much of my life ensuring that young people like us have a voice in the decisions that they make in their education and their opportunities. Before coming to Fresno State as a proud Bulldog, I served on the Fresno Unified Board of Trustees as a board member, representing over 70,000 students in this city, so a lot more than what it is here at Fresno State. In that role, I have learned what it means to not only listen to students, but to take action. In that role, I have successfully worked to create mental health initiatives and support for our K-12 students, pushing for emergency safety facilities for our deaf and hard of hearing students. One of my main focuses was to ensure that no student was left out in a moment of crisis. Improving our food quality, also ensuring that no kid is going home hungry. Fighting for our foster youth and our LGBTQ plus community, because as someone who grew up gay in our system, I understood how crucial it was to be heard, to be seen, and to be valued in our classrooms and in our system. And in challenging times like now, I am collaborating with a few elected leaders and a few nonprofits across the valley to ensure the safeguard of families from displacement and keeping them rooted in our communities. Here at Fresno State, my passion has not slowed me down, it has only grown a lot stronger. I am deeply committed to ensuring that all students, regardless of their race, their income status, their immigration status, and their gender, sexuality, and their ability, that they feel that Fresno State is not just a campus, but it is their home. If selected as the JEDI Senator, my focus is on 3 folds: equity and action, amplifying the beautiful, diverse voices here at Fresno State, and building belongings, because in hard times like now, We must stay united and never divided. I believe representation matters, and more than that, so does action. I have proven my time on the Fresno Unified Board as a trustee that I can take student outcomes and student concerns and create tangible change. I'm ready to bring persistence, creativity, and determination to the Senate. Thank you all for your time.
And then does any senator have any question? Candidate?
What are you
Hi.
studying?
Political science.
Political science.
Yes, I didn't add that in there, but I'm a poli-sci major. I know there's a few poli-sci majors in here.
Any additional? Senator Sins?
Yeah, I was just curious, you're used, Fresno Unified is children under the age of 18, and most college students are fresh out of high school, but also we have a lot of older adults, returning students. How does your philosophy on diversity include some of the older students?
Higher ed?
In higher education?
Yeah, I can underline that one of the projects that I worked on in my term as a trustee for Fresno Unified, not sure if each of you are aware, but it's called Bulldog Bound. It is to ensure that our students in Fresno Unified has that success pathway to higher ed. So I've been working alongside, all of our other trustees and a few elected leaders during my term as a trustee to ensure that our kids have that pathway. And I think, I hope I'm answering your question.
Partially.
Yeah, partially.
I'm more focusing on some of these students who are here that have been out of the school system for a long time,
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
trying to find belonging.
Yeah, well, I'm a third year student. I didn't clarify that, so I don't know if I linked that type of connection of the higher ed in comparison to the K through 12 atmosphere.
More like I'm almost 40,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
I have a very different
Yeah.
sense of like
100%.
how I'm belonging on campus as a different category of diversity, and I'm just wondering how you kind of encapsulate age diversity amongst everything else that you mentioned.
Yeah, like you mentioned, age is diversity as well as many other key points to this role that I'm obviously 100% in support of and willing to hear individuals about. But yes, I really hope I answered your question to the best of my ability.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
And one last final question, if anybody has it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May the second candidate, Harley Calleros, please come up and speak. You have 3 minutes, and you'll have time to take 3 questions from senators after. Is Harley here? Okay, we'll move on to the third candidate. Maria Quiteres, please come up to speak. You'll have 3 minutes, and then 3 questions after.
Hello, the weather, right? It's really hot. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Mergosa, and I'm a proud first-generation college student studying healthcare social work here at Fresno State. Growing up, I saw firsthand the challenges families and especially students face navigating barriers in healthcare, immigration, language, and education. These experiences not only shape who I am, but also fuel my commitment to advocating for fairness, representation, and access for all students and all families here at Fresno State. As a College Corps Fellow, I dedicated hundreds of hours to serving our community and listening to the diverse needs of students and families. I've seen how issues like immigration status and access to healthcare can create extra burdens for many of our peers, especially freshmen coming in. I learned that equity is not just about giving people resources, it's about meeting them where they are and who they are, understanding their unique challenges and creating systems that allows everyone to thrive, no matter if you're a student, if you're a parent, or you're just trying to see resources at Fresno State. My passion for social work comes from wanting to bridge these gaps, ensuring no voice is overlooked, no matter your social status or where you come from. If elected as your Jedi Senator, I will bring 3 things. First, lived experiences. I know what it feels like to navigate higher education, especially being a first-generation student, having no resources, having no family that has higher education. You feel like you're by yourself. And I also witness how immigration struggles and healthcare barriers affect families like mine. I want to use that perspective to ensure students from all backgrounds feel supported. Second, advocacy. My work in College Corps has given me the opportunity to stand up for underserved communities, especially here at Fresno. Whether that means immigrant families seeking resources or students struggling to access healthcare. and I want to bring that same energy to the Senate by pushing for more inclusive policies, resources, and spaces for our students. Third, collaboration. I believe meaningful change comes from listening and working together. I want to partner with student organizations, cultural centers, and campus leaders to create initiatives that celebrate our diversity, highlight the importance of immigrant voices, and uplift marginalized communities. In this role, I envision fostering safe spaces for dialogue, promoting cultural awareness, especially at Fresno, and strengthening support system to every student, regardless of their background, immigration status, or health challenges. I feel they should feel that they belong here at Fresno State, no matter what background they come from. I am deeply committed to justice, equity, inclusion, and diversity, not just as ideals, but as daily practices. If elected as your JDI Senator, I will work to ensure that every student at Fresno State feels safe.
And that's time. Thank you so much for your speech. We'll now open the floor up for any questions. Are there any questions? We'll take up to 3. Senator Morales?
What do you think is like one of the biggest challenges you think you might face as a JDI Senator?
I feel like one of the challenges that I not only have faced coming as a freshman, but other students that came will be really their immigration and healthcare status, especially with everything that's going on right now. People, especially immigrant families or immigrant students, might feel, oh, I'm immigrant, I don't have these resources. They should know that Fresno State has these wide variety of resources, especially for immigrant students. And I feel like we just need to, publish them more, advertise them more.
We'll take 2 more questions. Senator Seti?
I'm glad that you brought that up because I had a student, international student, but she needed access to information about resources, and I think that's really very important. So I'm curious, have you thought of like some specific ways that you would let students know about the resources that are available to them?
Yes, actually I have. Sometimes people just say like, oh, just like post it on Instagram, but there's a lot of students that also don't have access to a phone, access to or internet or anything. So I was thinking, going if professors are open to it, going to open classes, advocating the resources that Fresno State has, especially for underserved immigrant students, or for any student that might not know what resources Fresno State might have.
Thank you.
Any final question?
Hi, I want to ask a final question if nobody else has any questions. I know you mentioned, and I'm sorry if I heard wrong, social work is one of your majors?
Yes.
So I wanted to, how do you think social work has given you that perspective or experience to be able to advocate for communities all around?
Well, I'm a sophomore. Last year I did College Corp, and I was able to be placed at EPU, Exceptional Parents Unlimited. My work there was to listen to families, listen to kids, to see what they needed. Basically, I was the bridge to connecting them to those resources. And some of the students, I remember one time, some students came in. They were from Fresno State. They had no home. They had nothing. They just came to Fresno State. They were homeless. They didn't know no resources that Fresno State had. They didn't have no phone. They didn't have anything. So we were not able to communicate. So my work was going wherever they are, location under a bridge, wherever they are, going there, letting them know, hey, you're a Fresno State student. These are all the resources that they have. We have a food pantry. We have these resources. This is what Fresno State could do for you. It's more of having to talk to them face to face instead of over a screen, because I feel like when you are talking to someone face to face, you could feel the need that they have. And that's something that we should start doing with our students. Having the talk with them that Fresno State thankfully has the resources and that they're able to use them.
Thank you so much for your speech and answering those questions. May the final candidate, Daisy Guzman, please come up and speak. You'll have 3 minutes, and then you will take 3 questions from senators afterwards.
Hi everyone, my name is Daisy Guzman. I am a senior this year studying business administration with my option in marketing. as well as minoring in agriculture business. As a first-generation college student and a proud daughter to immigrant parents, I've lived through the challenges and some of the systematic barriers that can make navigating higher education difficult, such as navigating campus life, lack of resources, feeling like your voice doesn't matter, or just struggling to find a sense of belonging. But instead of letting those challenges silence me, they've actually been the reason why I'm here today. This role aligns deeply with my identity, my values, and my purpose. I've learned that all it takes is just one person for change to start happening. I think all it takes is one person to speak up and uplift others. That is why I believe in the importance of initiative. Over the years, I've tried my best to take initiative by participating in various movements that advocate for marginalized communities, such as those for racial justice, educational reform, LGBTQ rights, and feeding the homeless with my family, as well as recently support for Palestinian families. With my experience, I believe real leadership starts with service. I want to help every student on campus feel that they are capable of being that one person that can create change by making sure that they know that their voice matters. To me, true inclusion starts with understanding, and I bring that mindset into every role that I take on. As the former director of business and community relations for HBSA Club here on campus, I've gained experience on outreach, collaboration, and building connections across different groups. And that role taught me how to advocate for students while also creating opportunities for engagement and support. In my current position working with student involvement, I interact with students daily and I see firsthand the areas where they need the most support in. And these experiences deepen my commitment to service and they motivate me to improve the student experience for all communities on campus. And so as a JEDI Senator, I want to bridge those gaps by advocating for clear communication, as well as building stronger partnerships between student organizations and campus offices, so that students feel more connected rather than isolated. I feel that the best way to do this is by taking the extra step to get to know my peers and their stories, because everybody's different, everybody shares different stories and backgrounds, so how can you lead if you don't take the time to know who you're leading? At the same time, I would also like to take initiative in making disability accessibility more effective, whether that means ensuring resources are easier to use, increasing awareness of available accommodations, or addressing barriers that students with disabilities already face. And this makes me think of many ways that our campus can improve. And for example, in this building, in the scenario of a fire, elevators cannot be used, so students in wheelchairs won't be able to exit the buildings from the top floors. And concerns like this are
Thank you so
important.
much for speaking today. We'll now open the floor for 3 questions. Are there any questions for Kendrick? Senator Hill?
I'm sorry, just to go with where you're going from, you were talking about accessibility. Just could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so in this building, there's no way for people on wheelchairs to exit the buildings in case of a fire. And so I think that takes into consideration making sure every student is taken into account whenever doing emergency exit plans. So that's one of the many reasons why I want to, include all students, because I feel like sometimes things like that don't take into account. And when we're talking about all students, I feel like sometimes we don't really include all students.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Senator Setti?
So you mentioned working with, sorry, what was the one that the organization you worked with?
Hispanic Business Association?
Yes, thank you. During your role there, you mentioned like connecting and advocating for and representing people. What is one of the most successful tactics, I guess, you use or strategies to actually connect with other students to know their needs and expectations?
Yeah, so usually after our club meetings, everybody goes home, right? But I usually like to stick around with my friends, just getting to know people, getting to know how they are, what they're interested in, and just getting to know who they really are, because I feel like doing that, going out of your comfort zone and going up to people, it really teaches you how you can help those people. And so I feel like when I would do that, I would learn about different things and sometimes new perspectives that I didn't think about before. So I think that, doing that really helped me find better ways to help them.
Thank you.
And then we have time for a final question if anybody has one. Senator Niles?
So you talked about like connecting to students at Fresno State. So what are some ideas that you have so that you're able to connect with these like all the students, even the developed students with disabilities? So what are some ideas you have?
Yeah, some ideas I have is I think really trying to advocate the email that is given to every senator. I feel like that's a great opportunity because I know sometimes people are shy. They don't feel comfortable when you go up to them or something because I know sometimes you guys do tabling events outside, but there's a lot of times that students don't feel comfortable doing that. So I think doing that as well, but really advocating the email or any other form of, online interaction, I feel like that'll make them more comfortable to really express what they need.
Perfect. Now I'll give the opportunity for the candidates to deliver a short 1-minute closing remark. You may choose not to speak if you wish, but I'll call up the candidates in the order of their speeches, starting with Joseph Aquino.
Thank you. I'll close with this. What qualifies me for this seat is just not my heart and passion for diversity and inclusion, but it is my lived experience and my typical fights that I have made for thousands of kids in Fresno and in the Valley. Fresno that equips me, lost my train of thought, for justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion, here for all students here at Fresno State. I've been a fighter for equity at the K-12 level, and I'm ready to bring the fight here at Fresno State. Justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion are not just words to me, but they are lived experiences and hard fights that I have made. So I ask the Senate for your support, so I too can help write the next chapter of our university, a chapter where all students, regardless of who they are, so they can succeed. Thank you.
Maria Quiteres, would you like to speak?
Hello again. I want to leave you with this. Equity is not only about creating a seat at the table, it's about making sure every voice at the table is heard, seen, valued, and empowered. My journey as a first-generation student, my family experiences with immigration and healthcare barriers, and my work with the community have prepared me to serve, advocate, and represent with empathy and purpose. I will be honored to serve as your JEDI Senator, and I humbly ask for your support. Thank you.
And then last but not least, Stacy Guzman.
So to end it off, I think advocacy to me not only means speaking up for equity and fairness, but also taking actual action to address the barriers that prevent students from fully thriving at Fresno State. So I think that at the same time as advocating, I really want to emphasize in taking action because I feel like that's the only way that we'll be able to grow, is if we listen to other people and we actually take their word and we do the best that we can to do with it.
Okay, senators, before we vote, we'll now open the floor up for any discussion on the candidates for the senator position of Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, if there's any comments. Senator Taylor?
Hello. So thank you all to the candidates who have spoken today. I think that you all would be exceptional in this role, but I also wanted to advocate for Maria. I think that she has a very diverse background and she would be able to relate to students and connect to students very well. I know that Maria, based on her speech, is knowledgeable about resources, and looking through her application, she was able to help students understand ways to take care of themselves during the ICE raids, and she has also helped family through housing support, organizing food drives, and Toys for Tots. But I'm really impressed with your application, and so I just wanted to go ahead and say that. Thank you.
Any additional? Senator Setti.
I just want to kind of parrot what Senator Hamling just said. I was impressed by everyone. You all have very unique and strong traits that you could bring to the position. But Maria's goals align with a lot of what I've also seen as a need for reaching out to students and letting them know that the resources are here and finding new ways to reach students because they're not all, like you said, connected or willing to connect, especially if they are first generation or immigrant families. And the work that you've done, you said you worked with like parents and families before. As a parent with a family, that just kind of struck a chord with me as well.
Any additional comments? Senator Hill?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of go off all this. I really appreciated all of you guys. I was in a similar position to you last year. I came out for a vacancy, and I was not the lucky selected one, but it was a last minute thing kind of, and I realized I had an interest in it, and I would encourage all of you to, continue the interest in serving. I know you might not have the luxury of coming back next year or whatever, but I was able to come run again and get my seat, and so I would really encourage you guys, even if you don't get this, because you're all great, to look for future opportunities in this.
Thank you. And then any last minute comments? Thank you for your comment, Senator Hill. That was great. Seeing no further discussion, I'll now close discussion time. We'll move into voting. The process will be a little bit different than in past years, just to ensure a fair and equitable opportunity for every senator candidate to get a vote if we vote on them. We'll be doing a roll call vote. So when I call your name, you'll state which candidate you're voting for, just to confirm them into this position properly. A candidate must receive at least 9 yes votes in order to be confirmed. If no candidate reaches 9 votes, we'll move into a runoff vote between the top candidates until one receives the required threshold. I want to remind everyone that you have the right to vote as you see fit, and I'll always defend that right. But at the same time, let us remember that we are here in the service of serving students, and they deserve strong representation for this role. With that, I'll now entertain a motion to open the floor for a vote. Senator Renteria?
I move to open voting.
Is there a second? Senator Hernandez?
Second that.
Any discussion or debate? Any competing motions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Moving into the roll call vote, Senator Armstrong, what's your vote?
I move to use my vote for Daisy Guzman.
Senator Camley?
Maria.
Senator Carrillo?
I selected Daisy Guzman.
Senator Durham?
Joseph Aquino.
Senator Hazan?
Daisy Guzman.
Senator Hernandez?
Daisy Guzman.
Sorry. Senator Hill?
Daisy Guzman.
Senator Martinez?
Daisy Guzman.
Senator Marcos?
Daisy Guzman.
Senator Nellis?
Daisy Guzman.
Senator Pierce?
Daisy.
Senator Nadia? Senator Rivera?
Maria Gutierrez.
Senator Seti?
Maria.
Senator Singh?
Maria.
And Senator Vang? The nomination to approve the appointment of Daisy Guzman to the Senate passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Daisy, on your appointment as Senator of Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. You can now take your seat on the Senate floor. Thank you to the Thank you to our other candidates for your time and dedication. We hope you'll continue to stay involved in student leadership and serving the Fresno State community. To all the candidates that are not confirmed, you're welcome to stay till the end or leave whenever you wish. Thank you again for coming out today. We'll now be moving on to action item 7.4, nomination and confirmation of the Senate Secretary. We've allotted 20 minutes for this item. The Senate Secretary serves as a secondary accountability role within ASI, holding both the student, Senate, and executive officers responsible to the bylaws and governing procedures. The Secretary chairs the legal committee and presides over Senate meetings in the absence of the executive vice president. This role ensures due process, fairness, and continuity in ASI governance. The Student Senate has reserved 20 minutes for this item. I'll now open the floor for any nominations. Senator Renteria?
I nominate Parker Hill.
Parker, do you accept?
Yeah.
Is there a second to the nomination? Senator Pierce?
I second.
And then are there any additional nominations? Senator Durham?
I would like to nominate Allison Vane.
Senator Vane, do you accept? Is there a second?
I second that.
Senator Martinez?
I second that motion.
Any additional nominations? I'll now open the floor for any speeches or comments if you have any in the order of nominations. Senator Hill, I want to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, I have interest in helping out here. I'm interested in the legal process. Y'all can hear me, right? I don't need the mic. I don't want to have more difficulties. But I'm happy to work with whoever. I don't want any conflict, if someone's really going for it. But I'm eager to help, and I would like to give my unique perspective on things if I can.
Senator Vane?
Similar to Parker, it'd be great to connect with all of you and learn more about the classes as well. This is a great opportunity, and thank you for allowing me.
After discussion, we'll now open the floor up for any discussion if we have any before we move into a vote. Seeing and hearing no discussion, I'll now open the floor up for a vote or a motion to take a vote if anybody would like to open them. Sorry, I'll open the floor for a motion to vote on the Senate Secretary. Senator Hassan?
I motion to.
Is there a second? Senator Rivera?
I'll second.
Any discussion or debate? Any competing motions? Okay, we'll do a voice call vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? We'll now do a roll call vote in a similar fashion, starting with Senator Armstrong.
I move to vote for absent.
Senator Kimley?
Parker Hill.
Senator Carrillo?
Allison.
Senator Durham?
Allison.
Senator Hazan?
Parker Hill.
Senator Hill?
Parker Hill.
Senator Hernandez?
Parker Hill.
Senator Martinez?
Parker Hill.
Senator Marcos?
Parker Hill.
Senator Guzman?
Allison.
Senator Ornelas?
Allison.
Senator Pierce?
Parker Hill.
Senator Renteria?
Parker Hill.
Senator Rivera?
Parker Hill.
Senator Sevi?
Parker Hill.
Senator Singh?
Parker Hill.
Senator Vane? With 11 votes, the nomination to approve the appointment of Parker Hill to the position of Senate Secretary passes. Congratulations, Parker Hill, on your We'll now be moving on to action item 7.6, the consent calendar. ASI President Saleh will present the consent calendar on the campus for, my apologies, 7.5 action item. ASI President Saleh will present the consent calendar for campus committees to the Senate for approval, and the Student Senate has reserved 5 minutes for this item. I'm so sorry. We're going to first do the cohort's priorities. Let me open that up for you. So the ASI Student Senate priorities this year, if approved, would be interconnectivity, strengthening two-way communication between students, campus units, and ASI, so you all know what's happening and how to plug in. Expect monthly You Said and We Did updates, open roundtable discussions with public information recaps, weekly drop-ins, and pop-ups to hear your questions, and a shared events calendar, plus a quick response channel for student organizations. Our second priority would be transparency. We'll maintain a transparent budget and grant approval process and clearly communicate financial actions taken to the Senate. Before votes, we will share relevant information with the student body, and after votes, we'll post outcome with brief context. Meeting agendas and minutes will be promptly filed for public viewing, along with simple summaries of current allocations. Our third priority would be student-centered initiatives. We design with you, not for you. Through Bulldog Voices and open feedback channels, we'll listen first and change course as needed so our work directly benefits students. If a project service isn't helping, we'll fix it or stop it and tell you what changed and why. We'll keep resources simple and useful, clear how to get help guides, and plain language policy explanations, and stay responsive to remove barriers you report. Our last priority would be academic success. We prioritize academic success, and we will highlight, support, promote, and improve student academic resources to make your school experience more successful. Providing clear information on where, when, and how to access tutoring and advising, accessibility services, and tech lending. Coordinating with campus partners to fix gaps and support initiatives that strengthen research opportunities, clarity, and communication with faculty and other academic supports. We'll now open up the floor for any motion to approve the priorities list. Senator Rivera,
I'll motion.
is there a second? Senator Hernandez,
I second that.
any discussion or debate? Any competing motions? We'll now move into a voice call vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? The priorities pass, and now we'll move into the consent calendar. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure it out. Well, happy first Senate meeting, guys, besides our installation ceremony. So this is my consent calendar. The Internal Affairs Committee and me would like to recommend these following candidates to be appointed to the following committees. So first is our internal committees. We got a lot of applications, and everyone who applied got a committee application. If not their first choice, then their second choice at least, because some committees had higher demand than other committees. Next is our academic senate committees, and so I appointed based on interest or availability that people have told me. I know I sent emails getting recommendations engaging before I appointed, but there was just so much that kept coming up that I didn't have the time to reach out prior. Not everyone has reached out, but there has been a good amount of academic senate chairs for these committees reaching out for the appointments. So I've been responding with the names and CCing your ASI email, and they've been adding you to the Google Calendar invite with that ASI email. So if you can, please look at that as soon as possible if you haven't gotten the chance yet. And then next is our administrative campus-wide committees, so in other words, our university committees. And so I also appointed to those based on interest, availability, demand, and also what I gauge a lot of people would like based on their senator role also. So like there's an athletics one, which our athletic senator should sit on. And so that's what it looks like. There's a lot. And so I don't want to keep everyone here for like 5 to 10 minutes. It is on the agenda calendar. And I have an inkling, because it happens every year, that a lot more committees will come up. I've gotten a few memos from the president about searches, and so there will be another consent calendar at our next Senate meeting. And so if you had any questions, if a committee reaches out and your guys' availability doesn't work, I could also reappoint you guys to a different committee or get someone to be appointed to that committee instead, and that'll be on our next consent calendar, so no worries. I tried my best to really put everyone where they'd be interested or based on their availability for when I've gotten to speak to you guys in the office and at our retreat. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. If not, this is my internal affairs and my very long calendar, consent calendar.
Is there a motion on the floor to approve the consent calendar? Senator Durham,
Motion to approve.
any second? Senator Carrillo?
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion or debate? Any competing motions? All those in favor, we'll do a voice call vote, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Okay. Motion to approve the consent calendar passes. We'll now be moving on to item 8.0, reports. First is item 8.1, executive reports, starting with President Saleh.
Sorry guys. So this is my report. So there's a lot. I don't want to bore everyone again. It's been a lot of meetings, a lot of committees, a lot of projects starting in June. We had a hiring committee also for operations manager. So there's a good amount. If you have any questions, please let me know. But I did want to highlight what I thought would be the best out of this time. And the first one is the student covered mural. It's still progressing. There has been a lot of progress. So facilities is helping us on what students can't reach for safety and liable reasons, because it's alumni students that are working on it. And that got approved at the executive committee last Friday. The meeting minutes are in our drive. It was under 5K. And so it's looking really good. They're doing honeycomb designs. If you guys haven't gotten a chance, you should stop by the student cupboard. But once it's fully done, we'll probably like post and do a video and everything. Next is ID replacement cards. And so in collaboration with Student Affairs, we're splitting the cost for 500 ID replacement cards down the middle. And this kind of started because of Bulldog hours for the library after APM students need to swipe in. And they have a grace period to October 1st, where if you give them your ID number, they let you in. But after that, you like have to swipe in. Which I know we have other places on campus that need ID cards, but this one's like, you can't really give your ID and your student ID number after October 1st. You have to like swipe in. So I thought this would be good to offset the cost for students. So it's $10 for a replacement card. And then from there, it turns into just a broad 500 replacement card up to October 1st for students, whichever one comes first, October 1st or the 500 cards, with VP funding of Student Affairs. So I thought this would be a really good initiative to offset a financial burden for our students. So we've posted it and tried to spread the word, but if you guys want to spread the word in other places, like I was talking with APP Prado, she works at the rec center, so she's trying to spread the word there because you need it for that, because it's brought into just on campus in general, not just the library. Please do so. And next is IRA. As many of you guys have probably heard, IRA funding has been a really big issue this year. A lot of clubs and organizations and departments have reached significantly less than what they were awarded in the past. And I know it's been frustrating for everyone. For the past 5 years, IRA was operating with a surplus of funds left over from the COVID years when no one was applying. And so it wasn't just our enrollment like fees that were going towards it, it was just a surplus of leftover fees rolling over and leftover money. And that surplus allowed us, the university and ASI, to award more funding than usual, often meeting or even exceeding the requests that were given. But now the surplus is no longer there and the budget is strictly tied to enrollment, which means we no longer have that cushion to draw from. And since I stepped into this role in June, I've been working to make sure the process is more clear and more equitable going forward. So we're building a rubric, we're revising the guidelines, so allocations are based on events and impact, and with the goal of really ensuring that every club and organization has a fair shot of funding. And because of the limited budget, however, there will not be a late IRO call this semester. Instead, we're focusing on strengthening the process now with this semester so that when the spring call opens, it'll be more fair and more transparent for students. And I know this isn't the news a lot have hoped for, or many of you guys probably hope for, because I know your constituents have also been reaching out. And I share that frustration because since my first day, I've gotten emails about it. And IRA benefits us all, it benefits all students, whether through academic departments, student clubs, or campus programs, and we want to preserve it to the best we can within the resources we have. So in the meantime, I really encourage you, if your constituents or you personally need to apply to IRA, to look into ASI club grants, because we have had applications for on-campus events that ASI or club grants can provide funding to, which are still available, and we can help support your events and activities this semester, whether it's coming to the executive committee or a senator sponsoring it. So we're really trying to also tell students that while we won't have a late IRA call this fall, that there are other resources available, there's fundraising opportunities, and so it's really serving as a resource for these organizations. And so our commitment is to use the funds we do have for this spring responsibly and equitably, and I'll continue to keep you guys updated as we make progress. And so if you have any questions, let me know, or we can always discuss it later. Thank you. I yield my time.
And then, I know this meeting's going a little bit longer than we typically do, so I won't go through each of my items, but I do want to highlight Bulldog Voices. We're pushing that out this semester just so that we can gauge kind of what students are most impacted by on campus right now, where they want our priorities to lie in the projects and we work, and how we use our time effectively to serve all students. So if you could push that out, that would be amazing. Thank you guys. I yield my time to Sol.
You guys hear me? Okay, I'm talking about the mic, but so I'm also not going to bore you guys with my whole report, but I am going to push the finance trainings. They did start on the 28th of August, but we have one on the 5th of September, the 10th, the 12th, and the 19th, and the 24th. It is on our Instagram. So please share it with clubs and orgs, because we get a lot of questions asking how can I apply, where can I get money, what can I use this money for, and essentially that training tells them everything. So if you have any clubs or orgs looking for how they can use their funds, then please send us the trainings. And also we provide food or like dessert, so yeah. And with that, I yield my time.
Apex Food.
Hi everyone, so just a few updates. Last month, I attended the CSSA plenary with a few of our other execs, and then Senator Sebi and also Senator Camille. And then just a few updates. We talked about like enrollment at Fresno State, how we have an increase in enrollment, and then I also mentioned like our increasing student fees, and then how we have a disproportionate ratio like student resources for mental health counseling and academic counseling to our students. And then a few more updates. I'm trying to really work on our lobby course. I'm working with a professor I worked with last semester on a project, and we had a project last semester, and we're trying to bring that up, so we're doing that right now. And then I'm also trying to work on some education initiatives with our upcoming special election coming up. But yeah, with that, I yield my time.
We'll now be moving on to 8.2 Senator reports, starting with Senator Armstrong.
Yeah, so hello everyone. As of right now, I don't have any projects currently in mind, but I was sitting at Blue Towers, August 28th, and I was with Senator Sethi, and she came up with an idea that I might have to take to one of the deans over there. But as far as that, it was real nice doing the symmetry, the student leadership, obviously the summit, that was pretty nice as well, learning different tactics. And then the finance committee as well with Diana, it was pretty cool. We learned everything that we were going to do, but as of right now, for any meetings, announcements, and events, please refer to my report.
Senator Kinlan.
Hi, everybody. If you guys have any time tomorrow between 11 and 1, Kremen is hosting an event to meet the Kremen Equity Committee. We'll be handing out free paletas, and they would just love to meet you guys. We're really excited, so please come stop by. And if you know anybody that is a Kremen major, encourage them to come too. And with that, I have my time.
Senator Cadillo.
For any meetings, announcements, and events, please refer to my agenda.
Senator Durham.
I'm currently working on reaching out to the Sustainability Club on starting a public student garden. So if you have anybody who is interested in helping with that, please send them my way. And with that, I yield my time.
Senator Hazan.
Hi everyone. So I'm currently working on building the CHHS Student Leadership Council. I have a meeting with the dean coming up to kind of get her input on what that will look like. Hopefully I will have, it complete by the end of the month so that we can launch it for the upcoming year. Other than that, I do not have any announcements, so with that, I need my time.
Senator Hill.
Hi. So with the lack of legal committee meeting, which I guess I'm now the chair of, which is awesome, I have been going. We went straight towards issues that I already knew about beforehand. So Vic and I had the chance to meet with the director of the Lyles College, which is basically the dean, but it's like he's the guy who actually talks to the students and he responds to emails. So we're going to be working on a project to get better access to certain rooms for students, because people in like bulldog racing, stuff like that, there's been a lot of complaints. Those of you that know Adam, I'm sure have heard it. So I'm looking forward to getting to work on the broader ASI stuff, and with that, I give my time.
Senator Hernandez.
I'm in the process of working on some projects that aren't finalized, but for any meetings, announcements, and events, please refer to my report. I do have my time.
Senator Martinez.
Hi everyone. I don't have too much to report on, but the main thing I want to do point out is that I had a student who reached out to me, and she's actually looking to start a beautification project of the Christ School Business fountain. If you guys have gone to Christ School Business, you probably have seen that fountain has been out of order for quite some time, and it's an eyesore. So we're gonna try to restore it, and we just got confirmation from the people that she reached out to that we're gonna be getting some plans and may do a volunteer project coming up in October. So I will give you guys more information on that. And I am as well working on starting up the Christ School Business Student Leadership Council once again. We're going to be reworking it. I'll be working with Michaela Ford on fixing some of the things that we saw that didn't go so well last semester. So I'm very excited on that though. So with that, for any meetings or with any meetings or questions, please refer to our report, and with that, I yield my time.
Senator Marcos.
Yeah, hey guys, before I finalize any projects that I might have in the works, I wanted to reach out and try to coordinate with any projects that you guys might have, any projects that you guys need helping hands or manpower, reach out to me, and I'd be happy to throw an incentive towards Greek students and see what we can get going. Beyond that, I yield my time.
Senator Annelis?
So I'm currently trying to get in contact with the dean and also class advising to see if there's anything I could maybe helping them, and also start the leadership council. I know it's kind of starting again last year, and I hope this time to actually be able to do something. And I need my time.
Senator Pierce?
At the moment, I'm working with Ms. Mattingly of Ag 1 to set up for the National Teach Ag Day, which is September 18th, and we're planning an event for that day to celebrate, and that I yield my time.
Senator Dantidia?
For any meetings and projects, please refer to my report with that.
Senator Rivera?
I'm working on a partnership with Aries Tickets to make buying and selling student tickets for football, for all athletic games a little bit easier, so we don't get scammed on Snapchat anymore or anything like that. So, but other than that, nothing else to report, and I yield my time.
Senator Setti?
So I'm working, I just met with the Dean of College of Arts and Humanities, and we want to look into starting the Leadership Council. Also, there's an invitation, she wants everybody to know on September 11th, Connolly Arts is having like a art show, but there's gonna be like a talk beforehand with like the artist, and it'll be really fun. Details forthcoming. I just went over there yesterday. Also, we're going to be planning almost like an open, she wants to plan like an open forum with Arts and Humanities, focusing on the AI issue, you know, the AI elephant in the room. So that'll be in the works if anybody else is interested in anything along those lines. Another thing, I did meet with the Student Health and Counseling Center about like sharps disposal, and they want to talk to us about doing an information campaign, that those are available, and I think that's it, so I yield my time.
Senator Singh?
Okay, so I'm currently collaborating with Senator Hill and working on a few projects for the Dallas College of Engineering. Some of these projects include implementing an undergraduate research directory, because for those of you who don't know, Fresno State is now an Art II university, so we have been given the title because we have they have noticed that we have high research activity, and I believe implementing an undergraduate research directory at this time is a good opportunity for both the faculty and students. It gives the engineering faculty it gives them a way to sort of like showcase their research work, and at the same time it gives students extra opportunities to take part in research. And additionally, we are working on a few other projects. We have had a few meetings with the Director of Student Services, and for any additional announcements, please refer to my report. I need my time.
Senator Mink?
I'm going to be meeting with the Associate Dean to hopefully recruit more students for our Dean Student Advisory Circle. I did meet with the previous senators, Senator Riney, and she gave me a lot of good ideas of what to work on for this upcoming year. I'll also be collaborating with her on a wellness course, kind of teaching students on how to be good to yourself, both mentally and physically. Other than that, I don't know.
Thank you. We'll now be moving on to item 8.3, staff reports with Operations Manager Lisitson.
Thank you. I won't keep up your guys' time because I know we want to go home. I just want to say that it is September 3rd and we sound like a December or February Senate. I am very happy to hear how much everybody is already putting in thought and work in. That being a student representative is about intentionality and about wanting to put in time and effort for other people, even if you don't have the time yourself fully, right? You sacrifice, and that is the point of these roles. You are not supposed to simply benefit. The benefit is supposed to be from how rewarded you feel for when you finish the work you've done for other people, right? The last 5 years for ASI has been hard. We went through COVID, we went through internal issues and restructuring, right? This is the year that I really believe that you guys can just take ASI and run with it and serve students to the utmost. And I'm very, very proud already to hear. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I don't care if he's proud of me. It's fine. I'm just saying that I'm very proud of what I'm seeing and hearing. If you need anything, if you need help with anything, please come to me. Your executives are first. But if you have something that you would want to talk about that you don't feel comfortable with the executives, with your peer senators, please come to me. And with that, I yield my time.
Thank you. We'll now move into item 9.0, adjournment. Does any member have any further business before we adjourn this meeting? Seeing none, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Rivera, is there a second? Senator Marcos, any discussion or debate? Okay, we'll now do a voice call vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Well, now, the motion to adjourn passes. I adjourn this meeting of the ASI Student Senate on Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025 at 5:36. As always, go Dogs!